Hello, all you beautiful orphans out there. It's Friday. Welcome to the Political Orphanage. I'm Andrew Heaton. Here momentarily, we will kick around some of the week's better headlines with Matt Donnelly and Paul Mattingly of Matt and Mattingly's Ice Cream Social. And be forewarned, they definitely swear. There are going to be some cuss words in this episode, but it's going to balance out by being pretty funny. It's going to be pretty funny because this is a Friday. So if you're new to the program, if you came in on a flagship midweek episode where I spoke to some thought leader or author, I'm glad you had that experience. I love doing that. Fridays are just for fun. Wednesdays, and sometimes Thursdays, but mostly Wednesdays, are the meal of this show. They're the sit-down dinner. What you're about to experience is the dessert of the week. Or you know what, more accurately, it's doing shots. This is basically doing shots, possibly a beer bong of funny headlines. So I just want you to know what you're getting yourself into. But before we hop into that, I do want to run through some announcements of your fellow orphans that I will narrate using a cool voice. From Craig Vinsky, I will be holding a community appreciation potluck this Saturday, August 8th, from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m., just outside of Riverton, Minnesota, on private land. Because of public land restrictions due to COVID-19. We will be serving smoked brisket, coleslaw, bread and watermelon with smoked salt, water and possibly sake and beer. People are free to bring a food item to share as well. All the food and drinks are free. This is a family-friendly community and networking event, not a party. If people need more information and or the address of this event, they can email me at chef.thechameleon@gmail.com. That's chef.thechameleon@gmail.com. Or find the event on Facebook by typing Chameleon Culinary Co., Brainerd, Minnesota, and looking in the events section. Good luck with your event, Craig. If you all are in Minnesota, go get yourself some brisket and stand appropriately far apart from each other while enjoying it. Gary Fisher, another orphan, writes, Hey orphans, we have a game night every Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific. The more, the merrier. It's organized by Peter Fisher, no relation, in New Brunswick. The game and hangout link is different each week, but Peter posts them at a game time on Tadpool and Tadpool Games Room Facebook groups. So presumably, if you search for Tadpool and Tadpool Game Room's Facebook groups, you can hang out with Gary and some other fun people on the Saturday night game night. If you have something neat to promote, or you know somebody that listens to the show who deserves a shout-out, hit me up. Maybe I will post it here. Although I do have one more announcement from me, the host of the show. A lot of people have asked that I start providing stickers for the Political Orphanage and Snuffies, our main sponsor, so that they can decorate their laptops or toddlers with them. And I have obliged. If you want to get some stickers or mugs from Snuffies or T-shirts, you can go to andrewheaton.store to get some of that swag. But I actually want to delay you from doing that if it's the stickers specifically, because here's what I'm thinking we're going to do. I want to make a stickers packet. I want a whole bunch of stickers that I send people that they can slather on their laptop or their refrigerator or their cow. That's just a bunch of things associated with the show. Right now, the stickers you can order them in a sheet. There's the Political Orphanage, there's Alienating the Audience, and there's Snuffies. But what I'm thinking is I want to open up the doors to you guys, you the listener right now, to send me ideas for stickers that we can put into this bag. For example, I don't think I have a catchphrase, but if I had one, that would be a good thing to tell me about. Of like, Heaton, did you know you say this all the time? I feel like it used to be good and intelligent people can disagree on matters of substance. If you have an interesting way to make that into a sticker, let me know. Also, I'm told I say I hate tariffs quite a lot. Maybe that's a thing. Or maybe it's me and frequent guest Jennings arm wrestling. I don't know. But if you have an idea that's emblematic of Friday Release Valve or Snuffies or the Political Orphanage or something that comes up a lot, feel free to email me at andrew@mightyheaton.com. It can be a phrase, it can be a picture, it can be an idea. And if you're a particularly good artist, you can just send your work to me directly. And if you send me a good idea and I think it's funny, I will hop on Fiverr and I will get someone to render it, and then I will add it to that big old bag of stickers people can order so that they can get a bunch of brightly colored patches and show off their orphan pride. Okay, one more thing before we get to the very important headlines that I have invited Matt and Mattingly to help sort out with me. A Whig Party update. As you know, I am running for Vice President of the United States, with no one else on the ticket. I am not running with a presidential candidate. I am running for the number 2 spot on the ticket, probably just in Louisiana. And I'm doing it on the Rogue Whig Party ticket. And last week I told you that the Rogue Whig Party would be selecting its party mascot. And the animals that were available were raccoon, honey badger, penguin, and platypus. And also, a bunch of you tried to do a write-in campaign for tardigrades, the small microscopic animals that look like bears that can survive in space, which very much impressed me, that it wasn't enough to just pick the animal for a fifth party ticket. You wanted to have a write-in vote for a fifth party ticket animal. I was impressed. The winner was honey badger. But the Rogue Whig Party, operating on very solid intelligence, has determined that that online Twitter poll was infiltrated by Russian Cylons. Now, knowing that the sanctity of our poll had been breached by Russians, we proposed 3 new options today to deal with the incursion. Should we just default on a raccoon, the animal I clearly wanted from the beginning, despite the fact that you all decided to go with a honey badger? Or should we hire a Matlock impersonator to investigate this issue? Or should we do the most complicated thing, which is breed an entirely new animal to be the party mascot? And you all didn't pick raccoon or Matlock. You picked breed a brand new species of animal made out of composite parts from other animals in some sort of weird, furry Disney Frankenstein amalgamum. So here's what we're going to do. From now on, the Rogue Whig Party animal is a raccoon with the heart of a honey badger. It's a chimera or a chimera. I don't know how you say that word, but it's got organs from both and a pacemaker. So it's technically a cyborg. I will keep you appraised of my meteoric vice presidential campaign. But right now, duty calls. We need to hit those headlines. Let's go. It is Friday. Earlier in the week, we did a substantive interview episode where we went over thoughtful political measures and policy recommendations and things of that note. And we are not going to do that right now. If you're new to the program, we are not at all going to do thought leader, thinky fun time type stuff. We are doing another installment of Friday Release Valve, where I bring on 2 funny friends to kick around the week's underserved headlines. And this week, I am delighted to bring on Matt Donnelly and Paul Mattingly. They are the hosts of Matt and Mattingly's Ice Cream Social. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for lowering your bar every Friday to include people like us in your program. We really appreciate it.
It's like I hit rock bottom and then I just tumbled through to the septic tank. And I keep waiting to see where it's going to stop. And so far it hasn't.
No basement.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. And I'll plug it. I came on your guys' show about 3 weeks ago and I had a great time. So I was really excited that you could come on to mine and we could keep the party going.
I love it. Yes, we loved having you on, and we'll have you on again. Our listeners loved you a lot. So You
good. I'm glad. Well, see, I find that in general, and this is both for podcast audiences and in my personal life, people like me best when they only hear from me about once a month.
Great.
So I'll give you a few more weeks. Like I've noticed when I visit other cities, it's really good if they haven't seen me in 3 months. But if they see me like 3 weeks, they're like, meh. So this weirdly, COVID might actually be good for my net social life. It might actually be, and possibly for dating. We'll see.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
I'll kick it off with the top headline of this week. Windows up, baboons at UK Safari Park arm themselves with knives and chainsaw. So this comes from Myerside Knowsley Safari Park in England. And apparently the local mechanics they were talking to the paper about how people will leave this safari park and their car will like be missing license plates, or it'll have a damaged tire or like a stolen antenna, because when they're out there, a bunch of baboons and monkeys will attack their car with actual weapons and tools. And so they're not entirely sure whether, like, as a joke, English people at the end of the experience are like, all right, well, here you go. Here's a chainsaw and a wrench, and just start passing the stuff. That wasn't even a good. Actually, it's a perfect Myerside Knowles accent. Anybody wants to call me out on that, they can. But they're not sure. I'm curious
whether we can call these an attack or not, because I think what's slowly happening is, the concept of a cargo cult. It's kind of like an urban legend.
Yeah.
When the monkeys actually open up their monkey garage and release the vehicle that they've slowly assembled from parts of other vehicles, when they finally make the break for it in their monkey tank, their high-speed monkey tank, I think then we'll be like, oh, now it all makes more sense.
Mad Max monkeys.
Totally. Mad Max monkeys on the loose.
It's not that they're indiscriminately attacking vehicles. They're slowly assembling their own. I like this.
When I had one of my first party houses I lived in college, we built a bar into our basement. It was like a big project, but we made a nice, beautiful finished bar. Then we populated everything on that bar with stuff we stole from bars we went to. So like the napkin holder, the drink things, the stools. We stole bar stools. We stole straws. We stole coasters. We stole everything. So every bit of it was this basically Voltron of every bar that we had visited. And I think these monkeys are up to the same exact thing. Mm-hmm. Basically, I think I was as smart as a monkey in college is what I'm saying.
My thought, I have to put out the obligatory, don't arm monkeys thing. So for people listening at home, we should not be arming monkeys at safari zoos. But
anywhere,
I do
right?
think I do think we should be arming monkeys
in Afghanistan. We're guilty as anyone.
And in monkey sanctuaries, I give money to the Jane Goodall Foundation, and I don't like poachers at all. And if we can train chimps to shoot poachers, I'm all in favor of arming chimps. Right? I think that we could knock out a lot of stuff there. So don't give them to them in zoos, but do give them to them in the wild. That's what I'm saying.
So the monkey has to be fluent in sign language before we can give them a permit.
Yeah. I mean, yes, I'll go ahead and get out of here. I'm in favor of gun control for monkeys. If we're going to give monkeys and chimps, armed weapons and things, I think we should give some level of training and possibly sign language
that the left have failed to take, right? Which is like when we're trying to legalize gay marriage. You're like, well, if you let them marry each other, they'll marry animals, right? So the people who are for gun control have failed to say, well, once you start giving anyone guns, then we'll give guns to animals.
And meanwhile, Heaton's schlepping out to the Congo with some AK-47s and looking for chips to arm.
I just want everyone to know from this day forward, I am using that take.
And I want everyone to know that I will not make a cake for your monkey weapon party. I'm sorry.
And I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to the heartwarming, presumably Disney film about monkeys that assemble a racing car or something so that they can perform in the Indy 500. That sounds like a great, trifecta of interest groups that could watch that.
Bakery refuses to make a cake for my primate armory congratulations cake.
Well, when Monkey Wrench Part 5 comes out, then we can talk because that'll be a big hit.
Matt, what I enjoy about your last two quasi-political jokes is I can't even tell which team you're making fun of. Like, I'm not really sure if you're making fun of Republicans or Democrats. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Anytime I feel slightly uncomfortable, but I'm laughing. That's definitely it's a good thing. So I'll kick it to. Actually, this is still in England. Amazon is still sending mysterious rubber ducks to this man. His name is Peter Jackson of Ushaw Moor near Durham, and he is receiving one new yellow rubber duck almost every day, and he's been getting them for the last 3 weeks. He doesn't know who they are. They have weird notes on them, like from your boo-boos from Fake Doctor and Duck, Duck, Quack, Goose, and they send like dog treats as well, but mostly these rubber duckies. And a bunch of people wrote in to the paper about this and said that they thought that it was what do they call it? It's a brushing scam, where they thought maybe it was somebody trying to beef up their sales on Amazon, but Amazon clarified. They're like, we looked into this. It's not a brushing scam. So Amazon was like, yes, it's a psycho. It's not a scam thing. This is my theory. I think Amazon is doing this to this poor guy for free advertising because it worked. I just advertised Amazon for free on the program. I think there's some skunkworks guy at Amazon that's like, pick an old dude, send him random stuff, and that'll get us some leads.
Well, if it's saying stuff like for your boo-boos and something about a doctor, so they're calling him a quack. Are they just getting him confused with some other doctor?
Maybe that's it. Maybe this is like a really weird malpractice.
Yeah, they had a bad.
Somewhere out there's a really frustrated performance artist who's like, I'm calling him a quack, you idiot.
That's what I think they're saying, right? He's saying quack, quack. You're here, and if they're selling dog treats, it may have been a veterinarian by that same name, and he just found the guy on the listing. He's like, oh, well, I think he was in this part of England. I don't know. Have some ducks, you bastard.
I'm going to say this I just want to make this known. If I ever become an English judge, I will automatically throw out any court case involving oblique puns. That is not something that I will allow in a court of law. Automatically side with whoever's not doing it.
I think what happened was he pissed off someone who has a personal assistant, and he texted that personal assistant to fuck him up. But the autocorrect turned to duck him up.
There it is, duck him up.
And now the guy's inundated with ducks.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Like there's some mob boss or something.
Yeah.
And then he looks and he's like, actually, I prefer this. I feel like the ducks were the terror of the unknown actually outpaces the terror of a busted kneecap.
I was about to type asterisk fuck. But then I realized, wait, I kind of like what I wrote.
I'll show him I don't give a duck. I do give a duck. I give several ducks.
I give several ducks.
Mm-hmm. So this will kick over to the middle of Eurasia. Obese politicians signal corruption. Study finds. This corruption comes from Pavlo Blavatsky of the University of Montpellier in France. He's my favorite academic at the University of Montpellier in France. And he has figured out that average body mass can be a convenient proxy variable for political corruption within the former Soviet Union. So he did a comprehensive analysis of states comprising the former Soviet Union and looking at, based on as many visual cues as he could determine, looking at the body mass index of their leaders, he found that fatness in these Soviet states correlated with corruption. And you could look at like the Baltic states, which are pretty good. Their leaders were slimmer. You looked at the other countries, more corrupt, the fatter the guy is. I'm looking at this going, if we can somehow slip tapeworms into Kim Jong-un's diet, could we fix North Korea? Is that the problem?
I am. It's curious. I think it's always hard. Those are always those weird correlations, right? But I think it's a lifetime of being fat that makes you say like, fuck it. I don't care about.
That's the problem with math. It's real slippery like that.
They don't take it. They don't. There's no accounting for feelings there. So how many years of going like, ugh, every time you accidentally look at yourself in the mirror while putting on socks? You know what I mean?
Well, what about those politicians who, exactly like you're saying, those ones that you clearly know in your heart of hearts, that like, that guy stays up all night, worried about his constituents, and the only solace he finds is in a cheesecake. Like Chris Christie. Clearly.
I was about to say, I know one politician that you're inculcating.
I was going to say, what's baffling me right now is I just keep thinking about how thin Lindsey Graham is. So I'm trying to figure this out.
He's not that thin.
Clearly, he must not be.
He's not.
I wonder if there's like an actual like commie attractiveness thing where like if you're from a country with act like in our country, if you're wealthy, you've got like really nice gym membership and you get meal kits and stuff, right? So like in our country, it's inversely correlated. I wonder if you're like in a communist country or former communist country with actual material deprivations, maybe it's more attractive to be hefty because it's like, hey, I can afford to be hefty. I can afford to date you.
The fat kings were all the rage. It's like, well, that guy can afford to eat. Look at that king. Yeah. He's the size of 3 of me.
Yeah. The whole he never misses a meal was an actual compliment, not an actual sarcastic jibe.
Yeah.
No, Paul, Paul, I've only got to know you a little bit over the last few weeks, but as I recall, aren't you a former Soviet dictator? And if so, did you find that your diet affected how corrupt you were?
I am, and yes to both of those things. I would say what we referred to it back when I was in that boys' club.
Sure,
we would say, "Hey, Ivan, you're packing them on. Need to tighten that borscht belt a little bit." And sometimes they would. Sometimes no.
And Paul, I just got your text. I will indeed duck up Andrew.
Good.
All right, skipping down to Australia, world's most identical twins who share a boyfriend are planning to get pregnant at the same time.
World's most identical twins.
Yeah, the most.
Clarify.
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay, so I looked into this. First of all, they're okay. Their names are, it's like Anna and Lucy DeSink or DeSinque. I don't know how they pronounce that in Perth.
DeSinked up.
DeSinca?
DeSinked up? Are they desynced up? That's how twin
DeSinked
they
up.
are?
Oh my God! So that should have been the name of their show. I believe they have a show on Australian television.
It's not called DeSinked up.
It should be 100%. I am going to petition Australia to make you the ABC leader of television programming, or at least naming.
Right.
Yeah, they got on some show as the Wonder Twin guests or whatever, and have become kind of national celebrities, and they've done reconstructive surgery, so they're already identical, right? But like sometimes identical twins, like you can tell which one's which, particularly when you get to know them. Like they've done additional reconstructive surgery to make them even more identical, so that they're super identical. And they, according to the article, they're dating the same guy. They wear the same clothing all the time. They go to the bathroom at the same time. Ooh. They're very, very dedicated to this twin stuff. Yeah, they're dating a 39-year-old dude named Ben, and they want to get pregnant, and they want to get pregnant at the same time so that they can go through labor through the same time.
Okay. Oh boy. It's like you feel like good for Ben for like a minute, and then you feel immediately bad for Ben.
Yeah, I feel like,
first of all, if Ben has teamed himself up for raising 2 newborns at the same time, he's going to be dead Ben.
I hadn't even thought about that. I was just thinking, I'm guessing if you met Ben at a bar, he'd have a lot of swagger to him, is my guess. I feel like there's a touch of fetish and a lot of confidence that I probably wouldn't get. Like, it's my guess. I could be wrong.
Like, is he not even allowed to talk about the differences between them? Because they want to be the most identical, right?
Well, how badly does this whole thing fall apart when one of them conceives twins?
Oh man!
Oh, then that becomes the alpha twin,
right?
It's like in old monarchies when one of the princesses would produce a male and the other one would produce a female, and they're like, "Oh man, sucks to be you." Yeah, the one that produces the twins is the main one,
the super twin. Yeah.
Oh, now like I said, I'm only still getting. Ben. I'm still getting to know you guys, but Matt, aren't you twins with Hugh Jackman? And if so, how did you get past this? Because you seem to have a very different life.
Yeah, well, I got a lot of work done. To really make myself look different than Hugh. I was like, I just went with a picture of Hugh Jackson and just said Hugh Jackman, and I just said, uglier than this.
Just took a picture of Hugh Jackson and said, whatever.
I accidentally took a picture of the former coach of the Cleveland Browns.
Browns originally called the Wolverines.
Yes.
That's a lot of people don't know. Before they were just the
Wait,
Browns.
really? They were the Wolverines and they changed their name to the Browns?
No, never. You're right. You do not know us. Never listen to Paul giving a sports fact. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Well,
don't ever listen to Paul.
I'm not super well versed in sports, which is why I immediately bit onto that.
This is a blinding the blind.
Wait, hold on, because of the X-Men.
Right.
I get it now.
'Cause of
all
Hugh
right,
Jackman.
Paul, I apologize. It took me a
It's all
second.
good. It's all good.
It took me a second. Your mind is clearly firing on more cylinders than mine is.
I don't know.
Can I say this is one
I
of
don't
the
think that's
frustrating
true.
things about being like a literalist comedian is I make jokes for a living, I tell jokes, and then someone will shoot a joke back at me, and I will deadpan look at them and be like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, it will just completely floor me, and it always makes me worry about my mental health that like I can dish it out, but I can't take it.
Totally. You miss it. You miss it by a mile. That's the way I always feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I said, but add a bunch of fat to the chin, please. And then they just did that. And then now no one thinks we're twins anymore.
Hugh Jackson.
Yeah. I also changed my last name to Jackson, and then a lot of language school to get rid of the Australian accent. Really took me a while, but I'm crushing it. That's why I hate when he plays Americans in all of his movies. I'm like, oh, I've come so far, and he's right on my heels.
I got somebody called me a Craigslist Paul Rudd one time, and I was like, yeah, I could kind of see that, but I didn't take it as a compliment. I don't know, like they said it like a compliment, and I was like, maybe don't say Craigslist Paul Rudd.
Wish Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like Paul Rudd's stand-in.
Stand-in, stunt double.
They have to get the coloring
rent,
right.
I've heard.
Low rent?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, back in the day, we used to say like, Skeet Ulrich is a low rent Johnny Depp. But it turns out there's a lot more lower rents than we thought in Johnny Depp's world. But Craigslist as a qualifier is pretty funny.
It's good.
Yeah. So over in Germany, Fox steals over 100 shoes in Berlin. People in Berlin kept like noticing that they come out in the morning and one of their jogging shoes would be missing. And
this is an animal, not the Rupert Murdoch company.
No.
Okay.
No, that would be
that
great.
wouldn't surprise me.
And given that I think that Amazon is preying on old people by sending them rubber duckies to get advertising, it would not really surprise me if Fox were stealing German shoes in order to promote, flagging.
I'm going to corner the market
sales.
on German shoes now. That's my next move. It's a brilliant move. No one's moving on German shoes. Murdoch gets it again. In for the first and in for the best. Always. Hannity, I want you wearing these German clogs.
So Paul, I used to, for real, I used to be a writer at News Corp, the big corporation that owns Fox and
Which
I think now
I wish more
the Wall
people
Street Journal.
knew that that's the name of the company, and that's how they get around putting what they put on the air without, it's news. They say, but it's their company. It's like if I were to change my name to Abundant Bakery, and people would come over and be like, well, you're not giving me any cake. Like, of course not. And they're like, what do you mean, of course not? You're called Abundant Bakery. Shouldn't you produce just oodles of good baked goods? No.
All of us listening are just wondering if you're going to stick the landing on this.
Just my name. It's just my name. And I'll shit in a hat and give it to
there
them.
It is.
And I'll be like,
There
there's your Abundant Bakery. And they'll be like, wait, this is not at all what I was expecting. I'm like, it doesn't matter what you expect. I am Abundant Bakery.
Yeah.
And what you've received is therefore baked goods.
This is what happens when Paul lacks
Matt,
sense.
Matt,
he makes up for it in volume.
Yeah, Matt, I
If
think
you've seen the size
Matt,
of
I
my
clarified that. Matt, I clarified that I'm kind of literal and not really good at these analogies. Does Paul not like Fox? Is that what he's getting at? Is he's anti-Fox, right? Like, that's what the whole bakery thing is?
I think that is fair.
Draw some new shoes,
here's what I was going to say is,
Carlson.
Paul, when I was a News Corp employee, I literally tried to hire a Rupert Murdoch lookalike to have lunch with me on a weekly basis.
So you could just
that
be
I could
like,
sit in the cafeteria
that guy,
with
and everybody's like,
an
what?
older an older bald Australian man and just never comment on it and just see how my coworkers dealt with me. But it turns out it's really difficult to find a Rupert Murdoch lookalike.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought maybe you actually knew someone who had that. That
would have been great. No.
Yeah.
It would have been a power move, though. Wouldn't that have been a power move if I was just like getting in elevators and stuff with Rupert?
You just sit quietly having lunch on the regular. Don't make any big deal about it. Yeah. And maybe once a week, you're like, later, Rupee. And you don't that's it.
Or if my boss comes by, just go, yeah, that's the one. And then have him stare at him.
Right.
The crown jewel, I think, would have been to have him remember your birthday. So, like, if you're like a meeting or whatever, have him like sneak in like a gingerly white. Have him come in with like a little donut and a balloon or something.
He kisses you on the head and just leaves silently.
Sorry to bother you all. I just wanted to drop off this cupcake for our favourite cupcake. All right, you all keep up the good work. Goodbye. Yeah, that would have been pretty good.
Have a good day, Abundant Bakery. Kisses. I love you so much.
So before I completely forget about the original headline, it turns out that an actual fox, a real fox in Germany, was stealing all the shoes, and you know what? It seems to pale in comparison to our fantastical scenarios here. I had some kind of callback about giving the foxes chainsaws, but it doesn't seem to work now. I feel like we've lost the rhythm.
Well, it's going to be one of those situations where if they're wearing all the shoes, it's going to be sort of like to go Star Wars on it. It's be like the Sand people always travel in a single file line to hide their numbers. So it's going to be like, is it a bunch of foxes or just one fox wearing 4 shoes walking sideways?
That's a good point. They might be trained, or ultimately maybe foxes just really love shoes, and that's their thing. I don't know.
Where are the shoes ending up? In the den?
Apparently they found a den. They found a fox den with a bunch of shoes in it.
Oh, so they're using them for insulation and safety.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. That makes sense.
They're not using them as sex toys. That's not what I'm thinking.
Well, see, that was the next thing. Is if you find a bunch of those shoes. I'll tell you so when my great uncle Benny died, when he died, they went into his barn or his shed or whatever, and they found hundreds of left-handed gloves that he'd stolen.
Oh my gosh.
And that to me is the crazy part, because it's just the left hand. And one of my uncles remembers him going into a gas station as a kid, and the guy like distracting the attendant and then stealing a glove. And I can kind of understand stealing pairs of gloves and thinking like, maybe I'll wear out the pair of gloves, but only stealing left gloves, I think that's truly madness.
You want to drive someone crazy.
That's insanity. Crazy. Yeah, you're just trying to spread your madness to other people, because then they have to go get another glove.
This is one of those things where I'm glad someone as obsessive and covert as your was it your uncle you said?
I think he was my great uncle or my great uncle. I never met him.
I don't think he was that great.
So I'm very happy someone with these personality traits became obsessed with this silly of an endeavor. Should he have actually hated someone a kind of person?
We didn't come in and find left hands. We found left gloves.
As long as the gloves are empty, you're good.
Right. Yeah. You know what? That's a good way of looking at it. That's actually a pretty good criminal defense too.
Hey, glove half empty.
Look how weird and obsessive I am. Like, and I didn't kill anybody. I could have, but I didn't. And they're like, you know what? Pretty good.
I saw a meme today. I wish I could give credit. I forgot whose meme it was, but it made me laugh so hard. But it was along these lines. They said, I'm going to, if there's an unsolved murder in my neighborhood, I'm going to keep a shoebox full of clippings about it and leave it somewhere in the closet.
Yeah,
really
one of my friends
after I die.
One of my friends had to he had to redo his flooring, or he's currently redoing his flooring because of water damage. And I was like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Go buy a plastic skeleton,
right?
Bury it in the floorboards, and then just forget about it. Yep. Just forget about it, because like 40 years from now, someone's going to find that, and it's really going to be an interesting week.
Or a fox is going to steal it for their den.
Which would also be pretty. That would actually be better, because then it'll look very organic.
Halloween decorations in a fox den.
I'm telling you right now, that pile of shoes was a fox brothel. That's what I think was happening.
You think sex toy? I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
The thing is, foxes are kind of becoming even more close to dogs. Like we're domesticating some foxes.
Oh, right.
We're starting on that path.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
they were doing that in Russia, like in the 70s, right? Like they
Right.
really like hardcore, like started domesticating and making cuddly and stuff.
Yes. So I guess there's some of
They got a
that.
channel on Reddit.
It's an anti-domestication move. It's like, see, I am fetching your shoes, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, I'll fetch them all the way to
Yeah.
my cave.
And now I see
You'll
it.
never see them again, asshole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been cursing a lot on your show. Do you have this on Fridays?
You know what? What I normally do is if there's a lot of cursing, I just go back to the beginning and go, by the way, there's a lot of cursing on today's show. And
I
so
apologize. I should have asked that ahead of
I think
time.
it will. No, I would have clarified. It's okay. You know, it'll be all right.
We were speaking in the voice of the fox, and we know foxes are just
They're
vulgar.
filthy.
They're
Yeah,
just
and,
so-
and they you know what? And kids intuitively know that on Disney. It's why all
totally,
the
yeah.
foxes say "fuck" all the time. They're like foxes have foul,
Did you
dirty
see Fox
mouths,
and
and
the
you're just
Hound
not
too?
supposed to.
Oh.
Yeah. I can't even. Man, that
Well,
that fox was a
that
sailor.
was Sam Kinnison's big animated piece. he was the fox.
They're remaking it with Samuel L. Jackson.
I can't stand this fucking hound! Oh!
Hand me the shoe that says "bad motherfucker" on it.
Oh, you want me to get you another shoe? You want me to get you another shoe, Sam Jackson?
So on another
we lost
heartwarming animal story, goat arrested for not wearing mask in India. The Kanpur
What?
police arrested a goat that was roaming in India's Bekangani area without wearing a mask. The incident
for
took
you to
place over
say.
the weekend, and the Bekangani police picked up the goat and took it to the police station in a jeep. When the owner of the goat learnt that the police had taken it away, he rushed to the police station. He pleaded with the cops and the police to finally let him take it back. And they gave it to him, but he was warned not to allow the animal to roam on the road. And I like the more I read into the story, apparently there's not a law about masking goats in India. But one of the police officers said that he thought maybe there was because he'd seen some dogs wearing masks, and so he went ahead and confiscated the goat for good measure. So, like, first of all, that's some pretty like over the top policing. I gotta hand it to that guy. That guy is like that guy. I bet you that guy's not tolerating a lot of mask deviation in that particular town or village.
Yelling "citizens arrest" is such a rare moment anyway, but saying it to a goat's even more rare.
If your goat gets arrested, you just say, "Just kidding."
Oh, God.
That's how it works.
Oh, I didn't
thought I
have
had
a
to say
problem
sorry
with the
for
Sam
cursing.
Kinison impression. I didn't have a problem with invoking the wrath of Rupert Murdoch and all these different things, but a goat pun.
Well, I mean, that's where that old phrase came from in India.
That's
Got
true.
your masked
yeah.
goat.
Yeah.
I got your masked goat.
Yeah.
That's as old as the hills.
All right, wait, hold on. Can animals? Can they get COVID? I looked into this the other day.
It goes
and apparently
back and forth. I've seen back and forth. I've heard that cats.
but it's unlikely, isn't it? It's like it's very uncommon. Like
it
you
depends
like
on
if you
how
catch
much
COVID,
how kissing goes on.
right?
That's what I've determined.
If you've got one of
you're
those
a
breeds
deep throat-
designed for kissing,
But we're talking about how they were worried about contact transfer. If say you were walking your dog,
Right.
and someone who's infected pets or breathes on your animal,
Right.
that's the way that the virus comes in on their fur.
yeah,
Okay.
that makes more sense to me. Yeah.
In that case, that's a lot more covering of the goat than the mask.
So if you are out walking your pet goat, you don't need to mask the goat, but you should be careful about letting people who cough touch the goat.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
nice.
My goat refuses to mask up at Applebee's. That's it. It's like, this is my line. This
Yeah.
is my freedom. And I'll be damned if I'm not.
That's the goat with the Getson flag with a cannon on it, or it says "Come get it."
Exactly.
Or I guess the Getson flag's the snake flag, but it's got the snake flag and the cannon flag.
Don't tread on my appetizer.
Don't back kick me.
Well, guys, that covers all of the relevant headlines for the week. I think we sorted all of the international problems. What have you been covering on your show the last couple of weeks? If people want to come check you out,
Well, you head on over to Matt and Maggie's Rescue Social where you can watch me deal with Paul like a lion tamer twice a week. Yeah, we are.
I reined it in. Very respectful.
We're normally a behind-the-scenes podcast of Vegas entertainment.
I'll add to this. So this is only going to be audio only, but I'm watching Paul and Matt on Zoom, and Paul has just been making crazy eye contact with me while removing one piece of clothing at a time this entire episode. It's been very disconcerting on my end. Arousing, but disconcerting.
Well, this fans only page is not working out like I thought it would. And if it has to be one new member at a time, so be it. My advertising options are limited right now, Andrew. I don't know what you want from me.
All right. Well, I think I'll cut it off there, guys.
We basically promise 2 episodes of total ridiculousness every week. Or if you want a total departure from current events, that's what we provide.
Yeah.
And we answer listener
That's
mail
right.
and do.
So right now, I want you guys to know that I have in this 3-way interaction. I'm the one grounding it with Walter Cronkite like journalist instincts by drafting in stories about goats and armed baboons.
Yes.
All right, well, guys, it's been a pleasure
That's our
talking to you. Matt and Mattingly, and of Matt and Mattingly's ice cream social website, heyscoops.com. It's fun to hang out with you guys. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Andrew.